Operation Moolah, the offer that shook the skies of Korea. The Korean War was more than battles on the ground. It was a war for the skies. The Soviet-built MiG-15 was the fastest fighter of its time, climbing higher and striking harder than anything the West had faced. America's F-86 Sabre was its rival, but every duel was a gamble. To the pilots, every mission was survival. To the superpowers, every flight was a move in the Cold War's deadly chess game. The Soviet-built MiG-15 terrified UN pilots, outclassing many American fighters. The skies over Korea became a deadly arena. MiG against Sabre, pilot against pilot. Each second, the difference between life and death. In the skies over Korea, MiG-15 and F-86 Sabres clashed in the first great jet versus jet war. So the Americans launched Operation Moolah, $100,000 in cash, U.S. citizenship, and freedom for any pilot who defected with a MiG-15. Some leaflets were destroyed on sight, but others were read in secret, planting a dangerous seed of doubt. When the United States dropped its offer, $100,000 for a MiG-15, the Soviets scoffed. Propaganda, they said. But in North Korea, the order was clear. Lock down the jets, guard the hangars, and watch every pilot. North Korean pilots were watched closely, but the seed was planted. Every flight after that, suspicion, fear, doubt. On every base, soldiers stood guard in silence. Orders came down to watch everything. Every pilot, every mechanic. The Americans had made their offer. And now the North watched its own in fear. Weeks passed, nothing. No defections, no whispers of betrayal. Only silence, fear, and growing suspicion. The Americans watched and waited. Hours turned into weeks. Every tick of the clock, every wisp of smoke, a reminder the offer was out there. But no one had yet taken the risk. Then in September 1953, the impossible happened. Lieutenant No Kum-sok, a 21-year-old North Korean pilot, made his decision. Lieutenant No Kum-sok was just 21 years old. a trusted North Korean fighter pilot trained to defend the regime. But behind the uniform was doubt. He disliked communism, dreamed of freedom, and secretly longed for a life beyond the regime's control. When the Americans offered $100,000 for a MiG-15, he didn't just see money, he saw a way out. The takeoff was routine, but this flight would change everything. The takeoff was like any other. But this was no ordinary mission. With each second, the MiG climbed higher, carrying its pilot closer to freedom and closer to history. He took off, climbed high, then dove across the 38th parallel. Minutes later, the world's most secret fighter descended toward Kimpo Air Base near Seoul. On that runway, history touched down, and the impossible became real. The MiG-15 was finally in American hands. Engineers swarmed over it, testing every rivet, every system. For the U.S. Air Force, it was a goldmine of intelligence. But there was a twist. No Kum-sok had never even heard of Operation Moolah. He defected for freedom, not money. Still, the U.S. gave him asylum and eventually $100,000.